So I'm going to be going over my predictions for the Forbidden Limited list, and honestly, there's one thing I do want to clear up in the room is that I don't think that they're going to hit anything Fiendsmith, and if they do, it's probably just going to be Engraver to 1. But with how things are heading into the whole entire next format, Fiendsmith is going to be shifting out because K9 is going to be the brand new engine, and it's going to come with a lot of caveats. So honestly, Fiendsmith is one of the weaker engines against K9 because they activate both in the hand and the graveyard, and K9 loves when your opponent activates monster effects in the hand or graveyard. So let's get into it and let's talk about it. So first off, let's get rid of Evil Swarm Ouroboros. This card is being used in the Ryziel Herodic list, even Mitsurugi Ryziel is using it as a way to hand rip multiple cards from the hand. And we've seen this time and time again. A certain hand rip type of combo enters the game, and they normally hit it to an extent, either hitting around the card or hitting it directly. Now, you could hit other cards instead of this, but Evil Swarm Ouroboros is just one of those interesting cards that they released, as back in the day, Trishula Dragon of the Ice Barrier was banned for the almost the exact same reason of people banishing cards from the opponent's hand. And even in things like Infernity, they were using it as a way to clear out 3 cards out of the opponent's hand. It was instantly limited, where TCG could only play 1 for quite a time. And there have been combos where it's like, hey, you can make 3 of these with Enter, and you can also make Enter Blethnirs to rip more cards than hand. So honestly, being the first card kind of just getting hit would be fine, because not really many decks are going to be wanting to play this unless if they could utilize it to its full extent. Next up is a pre-hit to K9, being the number 67 Paradise Smasher. Now, the reason why I kind of want Paradise Smasher gone is because it has an 89 to 93% FTK rate of making your opponent not being able to play monsters, because the player with the higher total out of the dice that were rolled cannot activate monster effects or declares attacks until the end of the next turn. So realistically, cards like VFD, the number S0, Utopic Zexal, Shockmaster, those have all been banned in the past because it says your opponent cannot play. And this is just another card in the line of Exceed monsters that says your opponent cannot play. So really hitting this in before anything happens is really useful, because people will be using this till it gets banned. As we've seen in the OCG, everyone that was playing K9 was on this because it's just a win con for the deck. And after that, let's get into the other cards that are going to, in my opinion, are going to be banned. Triple Tactics Talent. It is 2 banned cards in 1, being Pot of Greed or Forceful Century, which honestly, both of those are really powerful cards, and putting it at 1 made it super sacky, and it's becoming super sacky, especially with how the weird consistency there is in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, where a lot of times people who draw it normally win because of the let me look at your hand, rip a card after they get Droll and Lockbird. So realistically, it's just one of those cards that I definitely think that it could get banned in the future, and they could ban it now or they could ban it in 3 to 6 months, but we're gonna have to wait on that. And the final ban is Harpy's Feather Storm. A lot of decks are utilizing it that could actually play it, like Ryziel, Heraldic Ryziel. Even the new Automat Ryziel is using it, because you could just go into a Castel or just a normal summon of a Fool of those, and your whole entire condition is met. So honestly, Featherstorm is just one of those cards that is another you can't play the game. And I kind of want to see Konami remove as many cards that says your opponent cannot play the game from the game, because it makes it where lingering effects just are very, very annoying. Now, things like Lancia or Droll and Lockbird. Lancia is a silver bullet to Malice and Orchist, along with Droll and Lockbird being a silver bullet to things like the Mitsurugi decks or anything that heavily searches. So honestly, those two I definitely think could stay, but Droll and Lockbird is on the other half of this could get hit in the future. But that's one thing, neither here or there. We're gonna have to wait and see on what Konami does with that. A little spoiler. Summon Sorceress for limits or unlimit. You could put it in either or, and it's really not gonna matter. She got her new errata in Battle Legends Monster Mayhem, and she's either gonna go to 1 and then 3, or they could just shove her straight to 3, which is absolutely fine. I kind of wanted to talk about Summon Sorceress because this has been on everyone's prediction list since the errata came out, and honestly, it's now time for this card to come back and probably just be slotted in a few decks like Hubel or just Fiend piles or even just monotype pile decks, which is absolutely fine. But let's get into things that I definitely think Konami might hit. So X-Ryziel to 1, this is a very interesting hit because it's the card that does everything. By normal summon or special summon, and you control no other face-up monsters other than level or rank 4 monsters, you can add a Fire Thunder from your deck to your hand, which starts off all your combos, and being able to send a monster from the extra deck that's an Exceed to summon it from your hand is very, very powerful because you can send things like Mirological Aggregator, Eclipse Twins, and more. So honestly, I definitely think that X-Ryziel should or probably could go down to 1, and you can hit other Ryziel names like Sword Ryziel, Ice Ryziel, and all the like, but realistically, I kind of just want to drop everything down a peg so Justice Hunters and Duelist Alliance has a chance to actually compete. And then on the Malice side, since I did 2 hits being Ouroboros and X-Ryziel to the whole entire Ryziel strategy and different versions, I definitely think that Malice B Dormouse could go down to 1 because it's the best starter in the deck, where it can go into every single line possible. And along with that, Malice and Underground. Both of these could relatively go down to 1 because of how much the deck relies on them. And with this, it will leave you with the 1 Dormouse, the 3 Chessie, the 2 White Rabbit, and the 3 March Hare. And realistically, that's absolutely fine. The deck is still playable because you could just utilize other engines, and it just becomes every other Cybers deck. But in my honest opinion, you really don't need to hit Underground. You just need to hit Dormouse to 1, and Malice is still going to be fine because it still has the other consistency hits that the OCG doesn't have. And now for the big problem in the room, Mitsurugi. Mitsurugi went from this is a very cool deck and engine to this engine is the best engine in the game. So what do you do to the best engine to the game? Well, you kind of kneecap it. I know Habakiri no Mitsurugi definitely is a card that they could put down to 1 because of how insane it is. Being able to once per duel special summon a Mitsurugi from your hand by or from your deck by revealing this card from your hand, contributing 1 monster you control is really good because you could summon out Aramasa or even Saji and go full combo off of that, which is honestly insanity. And honestly, the other effect really kind of doesn't matter because you're going to be tributing them anyways to get us an additional search. So there's that. And they can come back if they're banished or in the graveyard if they're tributed after you get the search, which is really good. And the other card a lot of players are talking about is Mitsurugi Prayers. This is a custom card when you read it, as when you activate this card, you can also tribute 1 monster. That's the cost. And you can apply one of these effects, or if you tribute a monster, you can apply both in sequence. You can. So literally, you can either just add the Mitsurugi if you tribute a monster, or special summon 1 by taking 800, or you could do both, which is honestly really powerful in my opinion. Mitsurugi Prayer is a common, so it's definitely going to be on the chopping block in the future. Didn't get an OTS upgrade, didn't get an upgrade at all in Battle Legends. So in my opinion, I definitely think that Mitsurugi Prayers is going to be the other card that they're going to hit from the whole entire Mitsurugi engine to make it where, hey, stop running it as an engine, try and play it as an actual deck. And now to join in with Summon Sork that I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about other cards that are going to be coming back to 1. Glow Ball makes sense because supposedly Akiza is getting support, and it would not make sense if they didn't bring it back. So putting Glow Ball to 1 definitely helps that situation. It's a card that could have came back a long time ago after they banned Halka Fibrax. And honestly, nowadays, you can bring it back and it's going to be totally fine. Same thing with Zodiac Dryden. Zodiac Dryden is just the worst Ryzeal Detonator. And honestly, you could bring this back. You can put Barrage back to 3. And people are going to play Zodiac because it's fun. People want to have fun with the deck and not have a lot of their pieces locked behind the Forbidden Limited list, which, in my opinion, I agree with. Bring back older cards that don't need to be on the list anymore, and just keep newer cards on a list so you can keep rotating out for a new product. After that, MX Saber Invoker. I've been waiting for this card to come back just so I can play Argo Star for fun. And it's not fun having to sit and look at this. And with the new Goki support coming out, I definitely want this to be legal to play, because you can't play Goki without Invoker. You just can't. MX Saber Invoker is a very good card. It's not ban worthy anymore. It could just come back to 1. You could put it to 3 and it's not going to do much anyways, outside of a few decks like Argo Star or even decks like Goki. So honestly, overall, this can come back to 1, along with the newly released off the OCG list being Nightmare Goblin. Extra deck super tight. The additional normal summon doesn't really matter anymore. And on top of that, the targeting protection you can get around with multiple different board breakers. And going into the Justice Hunters format, people are going to be running Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplet because those are really good cards. So overall, I definitely think that Goblin can and should come off the 1. So there's that. And finally, for the cards coming off the 1, Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew. Come on, Konami. You could do it. You could bring this back to 1 and let people play a small Prank Kid engine and add Emancipators. What are we going to do? Literally nothing. Let people play Prank Kids. The deck's not going to do much outside of table 500 stuff at events. And it might sneak in to get a top here and there, but other than that, I don't really see an issue with Prank Kids anymore. After that, let's get into the cards going to 2, or you could even say you could put them to 3. Dark Greffer, why are you still here? I guess it's because it's a foolish of a dark monster by discarding a dark monster, but honestly, in Orcus, we have Grisu, we have other things as well, like the Galatea. We have so much more now that we don't need this anymore. Phantom Skyblaster is another card that can come back. Normal summon or flip summon, you summon tokens. Sure, token gen, we really haven't been playing token generators in quite some time. And the only good token generators right now are Sky Striker Hornet Drones and Girsu the Orcus Mech Knight. And I'm trying to think if there's any other token generators right now, but there's not really that many, which is honestly surprising. After that, Masterpiece, the True Draco Slayer King, went to 1 on the last list. I can see going to 2 on this list. Same with Dragonic Diagram going from 1 to 2. And honestly, I was looking at the set list for Battle Legends Monster Revenge. All of the True Draco stuff are just unaccounted for whatever reason, just for reprints or new support. Because I was looking at everything, it's like, okay, this has support, this got support, this got support, this is getting support, but True Draco was the only deck in the whole entire set that's just like, you don't have support, or you don't have a reason why you're in here. So I'm suspecting that we might see True Draco support in the future, so these two will probably go back to 3 in time, but we'll have to wait and see on that, if it's true or not. After that, we have Zodiac Barrage. Like I said with Zodiac Dryden, you can put this to 3 and it does nothing. People will play Tri-Brigade Zodiac for fun, people will play Pure Zodiac for fun, which honestly, that's fine by me. Divine Wind of the Mist Valley. Why are you still on here? OCG has had you back for so long now that it doesn't matter and no one's going to play you. Which is kind of sad because I really love this card and I kind of want to play a deck with this. And if they bring Samorg, the Bird of Sovereignty, back, I would love to play a Mist Valley deck or even a Samorg deck just for fun with it. And yeah, there's that. Then after that, we have Nashiri's Sacred Tree. Put it to 2 or put it to 3. This card has been doing nothing since it was limited. It didn't need to get limited because of Nishiria Runic. We hit a lot of the end board pieces, so please bring this back. A lot of players are crying about it and wanting it back. And finally, for the cards going to 3, it's quite obvious. You have Unchained Soul of Shavara, Black Dragon Clef Serpent, White Dragon Wiverbuster, Morphing Jar, Snake Eye Ashen, Snake Eye Poplar. Those 5 went to 2 on the last list, and they're going to go to 3 on this list. But I had 3 additional cards to add on to it. Lightning Storm, you can bring this back to 3. People would just play 1 Duster, 2 Lightning Storm like always, or even just do the 3 and 1 just for consistency's sake. And of course, the Pearly, Duelist to Me, Delicious Memory, and Sleeping Memory can both go to 3. And Pearly isn't really doing much anymore. I definitely think that Pearly is the weakest deck recently from a lot of the deck build packs. And honestly, it would make sense putting them back to 3, just in case if they get support in the future. With the whole entire advanced pack that the OCG got that reprinted all the deck build pack cards. So honestly, this is just another thing that they could throw into there. But honestly, there's not much I kind of want changed outside of things like the Paradise Smasher, the Ouroboros, the Featherstorm, the Talents, and just the rest of the cards going down to 1, because they're making cards where they don't need to hit them, but they need to bring back a lot of cards off the Forbidden Limited list. I think there's like 30 cards total that they could take off with no problem, maybe 40. But honestly, it's just a waiting game for a lot of that. But anyways, tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And honestly, I can't wait for this Forbidden Limited list. The format's kind of feeling a little dry, like my throat right now, but overall, I definitely think that the game needs a little changing before Justice Hunters drops. But anyways, I've been BoltSpider, and I'll see you all in the next video.